Komi is very shy when words are involved, but somehow she's flexing as the school's goddess. With her sleek black hair and model-level height, she's the center of attention, but everyone is completely clueless that she's a total mute in social situations. Hitohito Tadano is a perfectly average guy who just wants to stay out of trouble, but sitting next to Komi instantly makes him the enemy of the class. One day, he accidentally knocks himself out and wakes up to Komi's tiny meow. Realizing she's terrified of talking to others, he decides to help her achieve the impossible, making 100 friends and finally overcoming her communication struggles. The story kicks off on a fine, wonderful day when a tall girl with long hair named Shoko Komi enters the private Eton High School, an elite school well known for its perfection. Everyone starts staring at her because she is incredibly pretty. On the other hand, a boy named Tadano Hitohito also gets into Eton School. He believes that reading the room and living without standing out is the shortcut to happiness. It seems like he treats spotlight avoidance like a full-time sport. Tadano sees Komi and tries to talk to her, but he notices a hilarious expression on her face, and she immediately leaves. After she leaves, he wonders what kind of person she is. Tadano goes to his class and sees Komi sitting next to him. Everyone is looking at her, which means she has already positioned herself as the school's baddie on her first day. He feels a strange excitement coursing through him while sitting next to her. It feels like playing with fire. The teacher asks Komi to introduce herself, but she doesn't say a word and simply writes her name on the board. Everything Komi does seems so artistic to the class that even writing her name feels like watching someone casually paint the Mona Lisa. She drops her eraser, which Tadano was about to pick up in return, but another guy stops him, acting very possessive. Komi gives that guy a weird look, which he ignores. During lunchtime, everyone rushes to Komi to ask if she wants to share their lunch. Tadano faints. After some time, as he opens his eyes, he hears Komi asking her cat why she can't talk in front of people. He looks at Komi sitting next to him and lies that he didn't hear anything. Komi runs away after hearing this because Tadano's denial means he totally did hear it. He thinks he has to fix this mistake immediately. Komi is about to leave the classroom when Tadano loudly asks if it's true that she's not good at talking to people. Komi stops running and freezes. She looks at him, starts trembling, and says, "Well done," to Tadano. As if he has leveled up and gained 3 EXP in comprehension, he asks her another question, which again makes her tremble. He thinks of a way they can communicate and tells her to write on the board so they can talk by writing. She writes on the board, asking how he knew she was not good at talking. He tells her he guessed by her reactions. They keep talking through writing. Just as he's about to leave, she grabs his blazer and tells him that she has something to say. She writes that she couldn't eat lunch and wants to speak, but her face freezes around people. She thinks she's scared but wants to talk. When she approaches others, they get nervous, some faint, or even cower in fear, which makes her feel like they hate her. Tadano realizes there's been a huge misunderstanding. She writes that junior high was especially hard, particularly at lunch. She hated eating alone while everyone else chatted. She was so lonely and tried to talk every day for 3 years, but her voice never came out no matter how hard she tried. She couldn't talk to anyone. She asks him what she should do and how she can talk. She has many questions about speaking, filling the whole board. That board just became a fake U page. She writes that she wanted to ask him to eat lunch with her. Tadano sees how much she has been through just to say one thing. He hands her a tissue to wipe her tear, but she was having hiccups. It is like his hero points wasted on hiccup rescue. She writes that she can't even say good morning, although everyone else does. She apologizes for bothering him. He asks if she thinks she's a bother. She also writes, "Sorry for writing so much," but keeps going. It seems like the board is officially drowning in words. Then she erases everything on the board and is about to leave when Tadano starts writing again. He asks if she thinks the weather is nice today. She picks up the chalk and writes her answer. Their conversation begins through writing. They talk about different topics and fill the whole board. He asks Komi about her dream, and she answers that she wants to make 100 friends. He writes that he will be her first friend and will help her find the remaining 99. She starts blushing and writes, "Thank you." She immediately runs off after that. This is how Tadano's unusual high school life began. He makes it his goal to help Komi, who cannot communicate easily, make 99 friends. Komi listens to him while standing outside the classroom. When a person has extreme social anxiety, they struggle to communicate, not because they don't want to talk, but because they physically can't, despite trying so hard as if their voice is on airplane mode. The next day at school, Tadano sees Komi again. One thing he knows for sure is that Komi is the most beautiful person he's ever seen. Her skin is pure white, her eyes are big and almond-shaped, and her hair is smooth. Looks like she walks straight out of a snow globe. He greets Komi, who starts trembling. He thinks they need to start with some vocal exercises. He tells her to try saying, "Let's be friends." He says that if she says this, she'll have 100 friends in no time. She stands there blank as a whiteboard. He sees Komi trembling but wanting to try speaking. However, Tadano forgets that their school, Eton Private High School, though a famous prep school, admits students based on interviews alone, and those who pass must be unique. He hasn't yet realized how difficult it's going to be for Komi to make friends at this school. Tadano knows he promised Komi that he would help her, and since Komi is already so popular, he thinks his job will be a breeze. He figures all he has to do is approach his classmates and tell them to be Komi's friend. He's already visualized how it'll go. He goes to a student named Yamai, but before he can say anything about Komi, she slides up to him and starts playing the role of a snake. Whispering in his ear, she hisses, "How dare he speak the exalted one's name?" She tells him that even though he sits next to Komi, he's still trash. Yamai reminds Tadano of his low social standing, then flips the switch and smiles sweetly like nothing happened. Tadano tries the same with several others, but he keeps getting the same cold shoulder. He gets from 0 to roasted in 0.2 seconds. During lunch, he sits holding his head, frustrated. There's still one thing he can try, though he'd hoped to avoid it altogether. He thinks there must be someone Komi could surely be friends with. He approaches Najimi Osana, his childhood friend, and is shocked to see him wearing a skirt because he used to dress like a boy. Najimi Najimi has an ambiguous gender vibe, says one thing and does another, and is a compulsive liar. He has one mouth and 1,000 contradictions. Komi watches Osana with a surprised expression because of his overly friendly nature. Tadano himself is amazed by her strong personality, unforgettable after just one meeting. He tells Osana he has a favor to ask. He responds with a lame joke, asking if his body can satisfy his carnal desires. Tadano is left speechless, and Komi stares at Osana with a blank face. Tadano tells Osana to say a phrase if he is willing to befriend Komi. He tells Komi to say, "Osana, if they can be friends." She stands frozen, time drags on as she trembles. Tadano keeps encouraging her, but suddenly Osana snaps, grabs Tadano by the collar, and angrily refuses to be Komi's friend. Komi looks as if she's in shock. Tadano takes Osana aside to ask why he turned down Komi's friendship offer. Osana reveals that he isn't just being difficult, he met Komi back in 2nd grade. He recalls asking Komi to play, but Komi froze like ice. No matter how hard Osana tried, he couldn't befriend her. Osana admits he gets chills whenever their eyes meet. Tadano asks Osana if they can walk home together, but he refuses, saying he has already done what he could. He pleads with him to talk to Komi. Osana puts one condition on walking home with Komi: stop calling him Osana and call him Najimi instead. He then reminds Tadano of the time he helped her write "Love on the Field" for a girl, bringing up his embarrassing past. After school, Osana Najimi approaches Komi and asks her to walk home together. Osana keeps chatting, but Komi barely responds, wearing the same puzzled expression. Tadano watches from behind a pillar, then receives a message from Osana saying he has given up. He realizes that even Osana can't get through to Komi. Two friends of Osana, Maya and Shiai, show up. He asks what they're doing there. Maya says he missed him after he left without a word. He asks Osana to hang out, but he refuses immediately because, despite her appearance, Osana identifies as male. Ma takes off his shirt and decides not to let Osana go this time. Suddenly, he feels a pressure on his shoulder. It's Komi, handing him his house key which he had thrown on the ground. Komi tries to speak to Ma, but only broken words come out. Ma wonders if she said she'll kill him. Komi keeps staring at him. Scared, Ma runs off. Komi proved that silence can be lethal. Osana decides to be friends with Komi, laughing as he thinks Komi is hilarious and realizes he misunderstood her before. Tadano congratulates Komi on making her second friend, Osana. The next day, Osana brings lunch and asks Komi if they can eat together. Komi starts trembling, but Osana sits with her anyway. Osana also invites Tadano to join them, but he remembers what others might say about him eating with the school's majesty, so he declines. Osana chats with Komi about random stuff while Komi quietly listens. With a mischievous smile, Osana tells Komi she feels a little thirsty and demands Komi bring him a list of things. If she doesn't, then he won't remain her friend. Komi, trembling, tries to follow the instructions. Tadano grabs Osana's face to scold him, but he tells him he's doing it for Komi's sake. It's training to help Komi talk to people. He sends Tadano to follow Komi. Like a stalker, Tadano trails Komi to Stan Baker's coffee. Komi, trembling, finally goes inside. She comes out empty-handed but doesn't lose hope and goes back in. Using gestures, she tries to explain what she needs. The man behind the counter shows her the menu, but she can't find what Osana asked for. The barista has worked at Stan Baker's for 15 years and earned the honor, so he believes as a coffee master, a dark apron barista like him can understand what Komi wants. He tells her to wait at the counter, but still he made the wrong drink. He has dark apron and darker skills. Komi knows he got it wrong and wants to tell him, but stays silent and leaves. She brings the drink to Osana, who opens the bag happily, but sees it's not what he wanted. Komi starts crying and both apologize profusely. Osana sees Komi sulking and finds it adorable. In the library, a green-haired girl named Himiko Agari finds a book. She gets very nervous. If someone looks at her, she freezes up completely. Overwhelmed, she starts throwing books around in panic. It seems like books are paying the price of her social anxiety. Komi watches her quietly. Himiko knows Komi is beautiful, smart, and popular, but also down-to-earth and always dignified. The more she thinks about Komi, the more she admires her. At the same time, she starts doubting herself, thinking her own eyes are ugly and she's not cute at all. She begins blaming herself for not being pretty enough. She wonders why Komi is looking at her, and her stomach starts to hurt. Himiko rushes to the restroom, which she considers her personal sanctuary. She loves the restroom because no one can see her there. Suddenly, she notices Komi standing outside. Himiko's alone time is cancelled by Komi. Poor Komi wants to ask if she's okay but can't. Himiko trembles and apologizes, saying she doesn't know what she did wrong. She feels relieved when Komi finally leaves, giving her space. When Himiko exits the restroom, she accidentally bumps into a teacher who asks her to announce the next lecture in class. Himiko sees Komi still hiding nearby. Her stomach still hurts, but she knows she has to fulfill the responsibility. Taking a deep breath to calm herself, she prepares to speak. She inhaled the courage and exhaled the panic. Accidentally, she stammers, saying, "Bah," causing the class to stare at her. She wishes she could just disappear. Then she sees Komi standing there, which gives her courage. She makes the announcement loudly and then runs out, feeling elated that she succeeded. Tadano sees Komi and wonders what happened. 20 minutes earlier, he remembers Osana telling them that Komi can't be friends with just anyone, and that he must have preferences too. From all his childhood friends, Osana picked those with personalities closest to Komi's. He told Tadano to help Komi find her next friend from this list. That's how he got introduced to Himiko Agari, who gets stressed around people and turns red as a tomato when looked at. Komi feels a kinship with Himiko, and they're both surprised to see see Komi leave to find Himiko. Back in the present, Tadano learns that Himiko couldn't talk to Komi. Meanwhile, Himiko approaches Komi and admits it was scary that Komi kept staring at her. She doesn't know why Komi was looking at her, but she thanked her because Komi helped her change a little. Tadano jumps in, saying it seems like they could get along, and asks Himiko if they should be friends. Himiko runs off, saying it's impossible because she's not worthy enough to be Komi's friend. Then she jokingly tells Komi that if she wants her to be her dog, she'll do her best. She refuses the friendship application but immediately accepts the doggo's duty. Finally, Komi has another friend. Later, before class, Komi shows Tadano her phone. She starts typing but accidentally taps the wrong key and erases everything. Tadano begins to get bothered, but Komi writes on the register that her parents bought her a new phone. Tadano is surprised to see it's a flip phone. Komi writes that she never needed a phone before, which makes Tadano sad. She thanks Tadano for helping her make friends. Glancing at him, she writes that she needs her friends' numbers. Tadano suggests they ask Osana and Himiko, but he notices Komi hesitating more than usual. Komi writes that she'll manage on her own since she relies on him so much. Tadano feels a proud fatherly warmth seeing how much Komi has grown. Komi goes to Osana holding her flip phone. Osana, shaking, asks Tadano to translate why Komi is pointing the phone at him. Komi hands Osana a paper and points to the phone and the date written on the whiteboard. Osana asks if Komi wants his number. She could just enter it instead of writing it down, Tadano thinks. Later, Komi visits Himiko, who greets her and jokingly asks if she wants her to lick shoes. Komi shows her flip phone, and Himiko asks if she wants to take a slutty picture of her to use as wallpaper. Komi hurriedly returns to Tadano, but before she can explain, Himiko runs after her. She writes down her number on paper because Osana told her Komi wants to save Tadano's number first, so the rest must be written down. Tadano starts blushing, unable to even make eye contact. Internally, he screams. Later, the teacher announces they will be choosing class committees, and complete silence falls over the class. For nominations, all the students glare at Komi. She starts trembling and the teacher laughs, assuming it's from excitement. Tadano recognizes this as Komi's biggest crisis yet and thinks he has to step in to save her. Before he can act, Osana becomes the hero of the day and nominates Komi for class president. Tadano gets emotional, unable to believe Osana sacrificed himself to save Komi. Osana tells the class that Komi's greatness can't be contained within the small role of class president, and everyone agrees. She demands a higher rank for Komi. Sometime later, the teacher announces that Komi's student council position is God. Tadano is reluctantly forced to be class president. After school, Komi picks up her flip phone and starts listening to the ringtones because she doesn't have much else to do with it. She has only 6 contacts, including family members. She pretends to make a call and accidentally dials for real by putting the phone to her ear. Komi immediately hangs up, panicking. Tadano calls back, telling her she may have dialed the wrong number by accident. He asks her to say, if she's okay. Komi tells him the number he dialed is out of service and apologizes for the wrong number. Tadano thinks Komi might be able to talk a bit over the phone. Komi hangs up, and Tadano thinks her voice is so pretty. Meanwhile, Komi is happy but mortified at her first call. In the classroom, the students are playing a game. Komi watches, wanting to try too. Tadano knows they're the cool kids, so it won't be easy for her to join. He tells Komi that after school, when everyone's gone, they can invite Osana and Himiko for a private game. Osana overhears Tadano and immediately asks Komi if she wants to join. The students are surprised to see their majesty coming to play with them. They feel blessed. Komi, shaking, goes to join. Tadano tries to join too but is refused by the students. Osana explains the game to everyone. When it's Komi's turn, they let her win. Osana laughs, saying she's got the hang of it, and suggests they play bamboo shots next. The loser has to make a kissy face. All the students want to see Komi's kissy face. Bamboo shots is a fast-paced game with yelling and raising arms. Anyone who says the wrong number loses. They're all determined to win, like well-oiled machines, eager to see Komi's kissy face. Only Tadano and Komi are left. Everyone hopes Tadano will win. Tadano gets an idea. He has no choice but to lose because he doesn't want Komi to lose. He says the wrong number and loses. They return to their seats after the game. Komi asks if he's okay. He says he's fine but feels like he has a stomach ulcer. She writes on a register, thanking him because she had fun. Meanwhile, Osana comes over and demands Tadano show him his kissy face. A pink-haired girl named Makoto Yadano shows up. She's usually a humble subject, but today she has a small goal: to beat Komi in the physical exam. The exam has 4 parts, and she knows that if she wins 3, she will be victorious. They watch Komi as she takes the vision test. The teacher declares her eyesight above average, shocking everyone since Komi didn't even answer verbally. Makeru tries to play fair, but the teacher declares her eyesight below average. Next is the height test. Komi measures 168 centimeters, while Makoto is 156 centimeters. The second test is a tie. Makoto worries because although she's shorter, her seated height and weight are both higher. She wonders if there's a place where short-legged women are appreciated. Meanwhile, Tadano scores average in every test. Ren Yamai, a brown-haired girl who considers herself an ordinary high schooler, currently has a crush on Komi. She loves every little thing Komi does. She follows Komi around, even finding a strand of her hair which she licks to make it hers and stores carefully, feeling very happy. Himiko, who greets Komi while acting like her dog, sees Yamai, who seems aggressive, as if she's a monster. Himiko was about to talk to Komi, but Osana stepped in and started chatting with her instead. After a while, Himiko interrupts Osana and greets Komi. Komi looks at her, making Himiko feel reassured. She can't believe she, a commoner, spoke casually to her majesty. She's thrilled that Komi ignored her because if Komi had replied, it would have felt like selling herself short. Yamai takes Osana aside and asks about his relationship with Komi. She instructs Osana to introduce her to Komi. Yamai is scheming harder than a group project deadline. After some time, Osana introduces Yamai to Komi, but Komi starts trembling and doesn't speak. Yamai thinks she can't handle Komi's beauty, her soulful eyes, shiny hair, and cute gestures. She wants to touch Komi but holds back because she considers Komi her majesty. Yamai asks Komi if she wants to share her hamburger steak. Komi agrees, and Yamai becomes ecstatic with happiness. Osana notices Komi trembling but doesn't understand what she's thinking since Tadano is absent. Meanwhile, Tadano is trapped in Yamai's room surrounded by photographs of Komi. At school, Yamai sits in Tadano's seat, wanting to talk to Komi as much as she can. Osana asks her to take Komi to her home, and Yamai immediately agrees, but remembers she has Tadano locked up. Later, Tadano hears Yamai's voice as she opens the door and asks if he prefers woods or sea. He answers woods and jokes that she'll bury him there. She locks him in a cupboard, instructing him not to shout. Tadano hears Osana's voice and starts making noise by hitting the cupboard. Yamai assures Komi and Osana, who are sitting nearby, that there's nothing to worry about. She goes to the kitchen and tells them not to open the cupboard, but the clever Osana opens it anyway and finds Tadano. Yamai arrives holding sharpened cooking chopsticks. She tells Komi not to misunderstand and assures her that Tadano is kept in her house for Komi's sake. Since he's not smart or handsome and his height and build are average, he shouldn't be near Komi. Komi stares at her. Yamai praises her and questions why royalty like Komi would associate with someone from the lowest rung of the school caste system. She assures Komi that she is the ideal friend for her. Her bestie's mood seems to be on. Komi refuses and unties Tadano. They prepare to leave, politely thanking Yamai for her hospitality, but Yamai stops them, crying, saying she did all of this for Komi. Komi writes on a paper that she chooses her own friends. They leave, and Yamai stands there, startled that Komi didn't even speak to her once. She starts crying, thinking Komi hates her. The very next day at school, Komi writes on a paper and shows Tadano that they need to talk. Later, she tells him she's unsure if she should be his friend because she feels responsible for what happened yesterday and fears she put him in danger. Tadano tells Komi that he chooses his own friends. She blushes upon hearing this. He tries to clarify that he wasn't trying to sound cool. Komi writes an apology and, sticking out her tongue, speaks to him, saying she wants to be friends. He's stunned to hear her speak. Meanwhile, Osana arrives with Yamai, who awkwardly apologizes to Tadano. She then apologizes to Komi for her past behavior. Seeing Komi writing instead of speaking, Yamai grabs the chopsticks and thinks she shouldn't be alive if Komi won't speak to her. Everyone panics. With Komi's permission, Tadano explains everything about Komi to Yamai. She finds it adorable. Later, Komi and Yamai become friends. Yamai is happier than usual and obsessed with Komi. It sounds like Yamai caught feelings faster than Wi-Fi in a crowded cafe. Makeru Yadano is thrilled about the final physical exam match because now she and Komi are serious rivals. Komi, in gym clothes with her hair tied in a ponytail, looks stunning. Everyone is obsessing over her as they prepare for the 7 rounds of the physical exam. Komi's grip strength measures 24 kilograms, while Yadano's is 18 kilograms. The matches continue, and Yadano loses every round, but the last test begins, and she knows if she doesn't win this one, it will be a total defeat. Yadano believes more in fate than in talent or DNA. The race starts. She's confident she will win, but Komi wins again. After the race, Yadano approaches Komi. Watching her run made Yadano realize how far she had strayed from the true path. She thanks Komi for the challenge. Komi, by not shaking Yadano's hand mistakenly, has earned herself a rival. Later, after school, Osana asks Komi if they can go to her house. Komi hesitates but nods, and they head there. Osana runs inside without hesitation. Komi's beautiful mother, Shuko Komi, who resembles her daughter a lot, welcomes them warmly. She's very happy. It's the first time Komi has brought friends over. Shuko is lively and talkative. They then enter Komi's room, which is tidy and has a pleasant scent. They all sit quietly because Komi doesn't know how to be a host, as hosting isn't in Komi's skill tree. Meanwhile, her mother brings snacks. Osana steps outside to look around, leaving Tadano and Komi alone. Osana's mischievous mind is thinking something naughty, but after 15 minutes, she returns because they're just sitting silently. Osana starts probing, trying to uncover something Komi might be hiding. Tadano sees Osana's terrible ideas coming. Osana uses a quirky talking to cats under the bed technique. They find Komi's childhood photo album and look at her pictures. At night, they leave and apologize for not helping clean up. Komi goes to her room, which is a mess, and receives a message from Osana with a picture of her and Tadano. Komi asks Osana for a new picture frame. The next day after school, the 4 of them try going out for ramen. Komi writes that it's her dream to visit a ramen shop. Himiko suggests ramen daro. The group enters, and Himiko feels embarrassed because she tends to talk too much about food. Himiko places their orders, and they wait. The tough-looking ramen boss speaks in a tiny voice and asks Komi what she wants. Without her answering, he already knows her order. The ramen boss looks like a thug, acts like a ramen sage. Their ramen arrives, and Komi loves it. People stare at the beautiful Komi, making her worry if she did something wrong. They all enjoy the ramen, and Komi writes to suggest they go again sometime. They get hooked and return a week later. Back in the classroom, a girl named Omaharu Nakanaka dramatically falls to the ground, thinking the forbidden dragon force is tingling within her. She calls Komi Princess Komilia, revealing her rich fantasy life. She reminds Komi of her real name, Marceau Le Primavera, though her actual name is Nakanaka. Nakanaka claims they have died and been reborn many times across nations. She warns Komi that if their dragon forces come within 10 meters, it will cause a massive explosion. She tries to make Komi swear a blood pact. Komi believes her and asks for more details. When Komi asks what dragon force is, Nakanaka's magical effect is broken. She clutches her pink evil eye and says it's out of control, then rushes to the nurse's office. Osana interprets the blood pact as a desire to be friends. Osana explains to Komi that Nakanaka is like Tadano used to be. She tells Komi about Tadano's junior high crush, Kawai. Tadano executed Operation L, which is basically writing love, on the field to confess, but Kawai immediately rejected him, calling him cringy. Tadano then decided to be a normal guy, cementing his personality. He had a rich fantasy fancy life and was very cringy. Osana and Komi realize a part of Tadano died, haunted by his past. Meanwhile, the teacher pairs everyone up for warm-up stretches. Everyone asks Komi to be their partner. Nakanaka scoffs at them, thinking ordinary souls would melt if they touched her dragon force. She tries to act indifferent, but wonders why no one wants to pair with her. Komi approaches Nakanaka, who is startled. Komi offers her hand to stretch together. Tadano watches with a smile. Nakanaka doesn't understand why Komi chose her. She intends to thank Komi but slips back into her fantasy, admitting she tricked Princess Camellia. Komi gives no response. She's made a blood pact with Nakanaka. Later, after school, Tadano and Komi walk home in the rain. Tadano reminds her about the heavy homework over vacation and how tough it will be. He notices Komi looks troubled. Later, he brings an umbrella and a towel for her from the convenience store. He asks if she has read Osana's note and tells her to wait for him by the shoe lockers. Komi blushes in the meantime, and the sun emerges. Tadano sees Komi sitting all alone in the classroom, already trembling. She shows him an envelope that says, "The bedbug bugged the bed." Then she pulls out a register where it's written that yesterday on TV they said humor is important for communication, so she wrote down a joke she heard recently. He tells her these jokes work better if said out loud. She moves to the other side of the class and asks a lame question to Tadano. Komi goes back to her seat, shows him some of her jokes, and asks if she can say them. Her jokes are so weak that they need crutches. Osana walks into the classroom, and Tadano thinks he's saved, but Osana shows him a sinister note he found in his locker. Osana thought it might be some coded death threat. He asks Komi to show how it's done, and Komi gets excited. After Komi's turn, Tadano tries it, and his level is as clumsy as Komi's. During the break, Osana talks to Komi about clothes and other stuff, saying they should go shopping. Komi finds the idea scary, but the three of them decide to go. Tadano hesitates but eventually agrees. Osana invites Himiko to join too. Later, they all head to the mall, where Yamai also shows up. She tries to play off her appearance as a coincidence, but Tadano and Osana aren't buying it because Destiny's not this cheesy. Yamai asks Komi about her taste in clothes. Komi writes on paper that her mom buys her clothes, which stuns everyone. Osana, the instant chaos generator, comes up with an idea to have a contest to choose Komi's outfit. The rules is to pick an outfit worth 10,000 yen or less, try it on, and score it. The highest score wins. While everyone's picking clothes, Komi stands still and gets mistaken for a mannequin. She wears Osana's choice but is too shy to show it off. She looks super pretty, and Osana scores himself 34 points. Next is Yamai's pick, but she gets disqualified for breaking the rules. Then it's Himiko's turn, and she scores 18 points. Tadano picks clothes for Komi after coming up with tons of awkward excuses. Everyone gives his choice a perfect 10 because Komi looks amazing. Komi also gives him a 10 and buys his choice. Later at home, Komi looks at the dress she bought and makes up her mind. On the other hand, a cute girl named Kamiko Arai is happy because she just started working. Her talented boss, Maki Karisu, orders her to clean outside. Arai dreams of becoming a charismatic hairstylist like Karisu. Komi visits the salon, trembling as Arai welcomes her. Karisu takes Komi inside, leaving Arai wondering if something's wrong with her because Komi didn't come in when asked. Arai snaps a picture of Karisu cutting Komi's hair because it looks so amazing. Karisu asks Komi about her school, and Komi just makes a sound. Arai is shocked that they communicate with just a sound. Karisu asks Arai to shampoo Komi. Arai starts talking about herself. She basically hit autoplay on her life story and asks Komi how long she's been coming to the salon. Komi points to a magazine to answer using the magazine's number. Arai feels sad and wonders if Komi doesn't want to talk to her or if there's something wrong with her. She worries she'll never become a pro hairstylist at this rate. After the process finishes, Komi pays and puts her finger on the magazine paper where "Thank you" is written, then leaves. Arai is surprised because she thought Komi hated her. The next day, everyone greets Komi in class. Tadano notices her new haircut and Komi blushes. Yamai gets mad thinking Tadano stole her chance, while Himiko feels sad for missing a chance with her master. At night, people with social anxiety tend to overthink everything they say and do, which keeps them up. Komi remembers Yamai saying she'd make her favorite dish, and Komi told her fried eggs. Komi wonders if she's too boring. Then she recalls Osana asking her to play a game, wondering if she was being weird making cat ears. She also thinks about Himiko, whose jacket got wet, but Komi misunderstood jacket as a book jacket. Tadano tries to calm both, sharing his own example of mixing up two terms. The next morning, Osana says he wants to die because exams are next week. She suggests studying together to make it fun. They all head to the library, where Goromo-senpai smacks Osana with a paper fan, telling her to be quiet. After studying, Osana reads a novel and laughs, getting hit by another paper fan. He starts playing around, and Komi and Tadano join. With all the noise, Osana gets his third strike and is kicked out, while Komi and Tadano get their first warnings. Komi shows Tadano she just wanted to have fun, so they go to Osana. After exams, the results come out. Komi did great, while Makeru Yadano failed everything. The summer vacation starts, but Komi spends the whole break locked indoors, living the true introvert dream. She picks up her phone but can't bring herself to press the call button. Meanwhile, Tadano is bored and thinks about Komi but knows he can't call her. He imagines Komi wanting to call friends all week but couldn't, so she just did her summer homework. Now that she's done, she's probably bored, trembling, and staring at her phone. Then he screams when Komi actually calls him. Meanwhile, Osana calls Komi, announcing the pool plan with the energy of a TV commercial at noon at Yomikiri Land Station. Tadano agrees and Komi says she'll come too. Komi gets ready to go, but as the clock ticks closer to departure, her nerves crank up like a boss fight theme. She checks her bag for the 7th time just to be sure. Komi's mom asks if she has everything she needs packed. At Yomikiri Land Station, Komi arrives a whole 30 minutes early, way ahead of schedule. Osana and Tadano show up and meet Komi there. Osana suddenly remembers that he also invited Himiko, but forgot about Yamai and the rest of the gang. Despite that, they all show up anyway. Anyway, Yamai once again tries to pass it off as a coincidence, but her timing is so suspicious that it could be used as courtroom evidence. Nobody buys it for a second. Komi, surrounded by people, feels her stress meter spike like a video game about to hit game over. Still, despite the inner chaos, she manages a nod and agrees to join them at the pool. They all reach the place together. Osana heads toward the girls' locker room, but Tadano quickly stops him. Yamai can't stop staring at Komi, thinking that staking out Komi's house every day was totally worth it. She's almost losing it when she sees Komi's bathing suit and gets shocked to find out it's the standard school swimsuit. Yamai pulls Komi aside and insists on taking her to buy a new bathing suit because she doesn't want the gang to see Komi's dorky side. In Yamai's mind, this is a fashion emergency. After changing, everyone comes out to swim. Tadano notices the guys rating the thick girls a perfect 10. Then Komi appears and the boys throw her a figurative 100 million points. The group heads first to the water slide. Osana and Himiko go together while Komi and Tadano pair up, which makes the others jealous of Tadano. After just one run on the water slide, Komi goes 4 more times like a total boss. Then they all float over to the lazy river, with Yamai and her gang trailing behind Komi like detectives on a mission. Next, they dive into a breath-holding contest. The winner gets soda from anyone who comes up first. Komi manages to snag 9 cans of soda, totally crushing it. Osana dashes off to the diving board, and Komi runs after him, but ends up tripping and hurting herself. Everyone rushes her to the first aid room. Osana suggests calling it a day since they've had enough fun for now. Tadano brings her something to write on. She tells everyone to go on and have fun without her. Osana takes Yamai and Tadano to continue having fun, leaving Komi behind to watch over their luggage. Osana thinks it's better this way, so Komi doesn't feel bad for ruining the trip. Komi watches them having fun and feels sad that she couldn't join in. Tadano takes a break and sits with Komi. Meanwhile, Osana and Himiko are having a blast, while Yamai and the gang start filing down the spot where Komi tripped. Tadano reassures Komi that her friends are good people and won't hate her. Komi writes on the paper that she did have fun but feels like she ruined everyone else's good time and hates that feeling. Tadano decides to take Komi with them because if she looks sad, no one can have fun. He suddenly realizes he's holding Komi's hand and quickly lets go to avoid awkwardness. They all grab water guns for Komi, basically arming her like she's joining a splash war army. Everyone starts soaking each other, laughing and having a blast. After the day ends, they all sit on the train heading back home. A few days later, Komi tells her mom she's going to the library. As soon as she opens the door, she gets scared by a cicada. Her dad appears and they communicate without saying a word. He decides to take her to the library, but on the way, they stop at a cafe for iced drinks. They sit quietly, both wanting to talk but unable to find the words. Finally, her dad asks how school is going. Komi smiles instead of answering. He pats her head and starts eating, then drops her off at Matin Municipal Library. Inside, Komi finds a neat book and rushes to the checkout desk but freezes before taking the final step. She starts reading her book to calm her nerves. Nearby, a baby stops crying when it sees Komi. This is proof that her beauty has crowd control power stronger than any lullaby. Just then, Tadano comes into the library to return some books, but, seeing Komi, forgets what he was supposed to do. On her way home, Komi sits alone on the swings in the park, enjoying the peaceful moment. She tries every swing one by one. Tadano heads back to the library to return his books, but accidentally sees Komi's precious moment and forgets to return them again. Komi's chilling in the car with her parents, sweating buckets in the crazy heat, while her mom just won't stop talking the entire ride. They're heading to visit their ancestors' graves. After that, they drop by Komi's grandma's house, whose name is Yuiko Komi. Ryoko, Komi's mom's sister, gives her a big hug. Komi's cousin Akira is there too, looking all shy. Komi tickles Akira, and just like that, the awkward vibes disappear. Akira warms up and sticks close to Komi from then on. Later, they play games together until Ryoko tells Akira to go see grandma before dinner. In Komi's family, that's not a casual request, it's a sacred tradition. Keeping grandma in the loop is less about respect and more like reporting to the final boss for approval. So Komi goes over and sits in front of grandma. Grandma asks if school is fun and peppers Komi with tons of questions about her life and stuff. Komi even lays her head in grandma's lap. Then, grandma asks about Tadano and wants to see Komi's phone. Fast forward to 24th August. Tadano rocks up to a festival in a yukata Osana's idea. Surprise! Komi's there too, which throws Tadano off. Osana of course knew this and even brought like 100 friends. Komi tries talking to Tadano but just keeps saying ta 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 over and over, struggling to get the words out. Her social anxiety has basically entered remix mode. Tadano tells her to chill since he's right there with her. They stroll around and Tadano notices it's just the two of them now. He tells Komi not to overthink stuff because there are plenty of people around. Next, they play a target shooting game, but Tadano's feeling the pressure because he can't focus with eyes on him, so he passes the gun to Komi. Then Makaru shows up and decides to challenge Komi. It's a best of 4 shootout. Komi wins 3 rounds, but Makaru cheats in the last one and calls it a tie. Classic. Osana suggests they try Candy Cutout, the game where a toothpick is used to carve shapes out of candy. Osana can't land a single win after 15 tries, turning the game into a public humiliation speedrun. Meanwhile, Komi's killing it. Osana scoots off to grab snacks for the trio. Tadano decides to ask Komi why she's acting all weird. After a lot of effort, she manages to tell him he looks nice. Tadano's shocked that was what took her so long to say. Suddenly, Yamai shows up fashionably late. She apologizes to Komi for making her wait, but honestly, they weren't waiting at all. Osana suggests playing the rope lottery next. Tadano's low-key worried about Osana's luck. In the rope lottery, he has to pull a rope to get a prize. Osana, eyes blazing with top prize ambition, goes all in like destiny's on his side, but ends up with a pocket tissue twice. He starts crying and begs Tadano to take out the enemy. Dano's turn. The granny running the game has some sneaky tricks. The old ropes look worn, but are switched with new ones halfway through. People without guts avoid the ropes she she ignores because they're decoys. But all the colors, smells, and thickness tricks don't fool Komi. Komi pulls the winning rope and gets Osana's dream prize. Next game, Nakanaka appears and calls out to her elegant red servants of the water. She wins, but only gets a pity prize, which Komi doesn't even notice. Later, Yamai asks Komi to squat down because she bought a frankfurter. Osana eats it instead of Komi, classic Osana move. Then everyone goes to have fun, but Komi starts trembling when she sees a dead end. Tadano tells Komi that even if she gets lost, she can just call him. They sit off to the side waiting for Osana, who's already been messaged. Tadano thinks Komi was happy to meet everyone, but Komi writes on the ground that she had fun with just the two of them too. Time flies. Summer's almost over. Komi visits Tadano's place. Yamai shows up uninvited and heads into Tadano's room. Tadano's little sister Hitomi thanks everyone for always being there for Tadano. They all greet Hitomi, but Komi stays quiet. Hitomi drags Tadano outside, yelling at him to explain what's going on. Later, Osana calls everyone to an emergency meeting. She admits she didn't do any summer homework. She asks to see everyone's homework. Yamai reminds her this drama happened last year too. Osana says the one who finished their homework can throw the first stone. Tadano says he'll finish if he stays up all night. He tells Komi not to show her homework so the guys can relax while the girls do the work. Komi decides to study, while Yamai watches her like a hawk. Yamai brags about going to the pool 51 times during summer break. Everyone's like, wait, isn't summer vacation only 51 days? Yamai pulls out a pic of the spot where they filed down the ground. Tadano talks about seeing Komi over break. Komi writes in her register that he should have said hi. They chat about the festival and candy cutout prize. Osana asks Yamai if she hung out with Komi because Yamai said they'd do something. Everyone watches Komi's eyes shimmer like she's about to cry in ocean. She writes on a paper that she never wanted summer vacation to end this badly before. Osana gets teary too and says he doesn't want it to end either. Tadano cuts the mood and tells everyone to finish their homework first. September 1st hits. The first day back after summer break, a total bummer for most students. Whether it's sadness that summer's over or nerves about school, everyone's feeling some type of way. Reality just slapped everyone with homework again. Enter Nokoko Inaka, a shy girl who's low-key scared to come back to school. Nobody knows she's a total country bumpkin. She's worried if her secret leaks, people will throw rocks at her. While everyone else is having fun, she stays quiet and keeps her skirt a modest 5 centimeters below her knees. But today, she's feeling bold and hikes it up to 3 centimeters below the knees. Nokoko spots Komi, the absolute god of their class and low-key her idol. She dreams of being a city girl, strutting the business district with coffee in hand. Meanwhile, Osana tries to mooch off Komi, asking her to grab a Saboi turkey avocado sub along with a pile of snacks. Tadano shuts it down instantly, telling Osana to quit freeloading and grab his own food. Nokoko gets hyped hearing there's another trendy spot like Stand Bakes. She's all in for that Saboi sandwich. Osana asks Komi to help out her bestie in need. Nokoko's convinced she's on her way to becoming a city girl who can flex at Saboi too. Komi heads to the Saboi shop, with Tadano watching out for her. He notices someone following Komi. Nokoko's low-key impressed by how calm Komi looks, but in reality, Komi's freaking out inside. After some serious pep talks with herself, Komi steps in but gets totally spooked seeing all those confident customers. She bails! Nokoko's amazed by Komi's chill vibe and keeps her pace, not minding the staff. Komi tries again. The staff asks if she's decided. She just points at the Saboi turkey avocado sandwich. The staff fires off a bunch of questions, but Komi stays silent. The staff casually points her toward their top recommendation, and Komi, being the queen of quiet decisions, grabs the sandwich without hesitation and leaves. Nokoko's mind is blown. Komi got her order without saying a single word. She's officially a Komi stan and decides to be like her. Meanwhile, Komi starts crying when Osana tells her this isn't what he wanted. That night, Nakanaka texts Komi asking her to come over tomorrow. Komi's nervous but tries to keep it together. Next day at Nakanaka's place, she welcomes Komi in her own wild style. Nakanaka wonders if she won life since Komi, the class god, is in her room. Komi's her first guest since elementary school. It felt like unlocking a secret achievement. She shows Komi her games and goes on a long intro but quickly realizes Komi isn't really following. She worries Komi might get bored and never come back. Nakanaka invites Osana over. He shows up with Tadano and they all play a 4-player game called Swamp Brothers. Everyone loves dumping their opponents in the swamp. They pick characters and start the battle. Tadano teaches Komi since it's her first time. Osana and Nakanaka face off and Nakanaka wins. The next day, Komi's eating when Osana calls, assigning her the honor of handing out tissues. She can't say no. People come to her because she's so pretty, but she doesn't actually hand out any tissues. She tries again, almost crying when no one takes them. Then a woman spills cola and really needs tissues. She's got a rough day. She looked around like asking for help was a crime, but Komi's eyes meet hers and she hands over a tissue. After that, people start lining up to get tissues one by one. Out of nowhere, Yamai appears and tells everyone to line up for tissues. Osana gives Komi a third of the cash. The person in the bear costume handing out tissues is Tadano, who keeps his face hidden. Next day at school, Komi spots something on Tadano's face but can't decide whether to say anything. Instead of saying anything, she went full silent observer mode, staring like she was trying to crack a case. She points at his face, writes on paper, asking if he's Tadano. Then Komi sees that Osana has the same thing on his face. Soon Himiko, Yamai, Makeru, and Nakanaka show up, all with the same thing on their faces. Komi freaks out, turns out it was just a dream, and she wakes up. Next day, her nightmare comes true. Tadano's got that weird thing stuck on his face. Komi sees Tadano blowing up Osana's phone. Komi stares at Tadano, squirms, and writes on paper asking him to call her by her name. Tadano's shy about calling a girl by her name. Osana asks Tadano if he means to tell him that he is not a girl. Osana calls Komi by her name, and Tadano tries, but fails. Osano tells Komi to call Tadano by his name, but Komi can't say it either. They just agree to go back to Health things were. Finally, Osano tells Tadano he had a sesame seed stuck on his face all day. It's sports day, which is basically a big festival. Osana's hyped because no studying today. A new girl, Chika Netsuno from the second year, rolls in and heads straight for Komi. She tells Komi that her class is like 41.5 degrees hot, but Komi is straight up cool. Yamai sees Netsuno touching Komi and instantly loses it, yelling for everyone to fight to the death. Her squad's ready to throw down. Tsukasa Aizawa laid out the rules like a pro MC who had done this 1,000 times, that to win events, rack up points for the team, and the class with the most points wins the whole thing. First up is group exercise. The person with the prettiest move scores 10 points from the vice principal. Of course, Komi gets the perfect 10. Next is tug of war. Some people quit early just because Komi's on the team, so they lose in the first round. Guess Komi's vibe wasn't just elegant, it was straight up boss level intimidating. Then comes the obstacle relay with extra points for style. Himiko's out there running hard for Komi and scores big for artistry. Nakanaka thinks sports day is a joke and just wants to get it over with. When it's her turn, she faces a box full of starch and has to find candy without her hands. She spots Komi and decides to use her dragon force to expertly fish out a candy piece. The next runner is Tadano. He and Nakanaka are last place, with everyone cheering except Komi, who's quiet. Osana tells Komi to cheer Tadano on. Tadano gets dizzy from spinning, but hears Komi encouraging him, so he jumps up and finishes third out of 5. Suddenly, it starts raining. Komi's mom shows up and thanks the kids for being nice to her daughter. Next up is the borrowing race, where everyone has to borrow stuff from others. Then there's musical chairs, ball toss, headband stealing, and more. Finally, it's the last game, the class relay. 4 runners per class, and the winner gets 100 million points. The relay starts. Netsuno passes the baton to Komi, who misses the handoff major. Oof. Netsuno calls Komi chilly. Classes 1-1 and 2-3 are neck and neck. Every point felt like a plot twist, the whole crowd buzzing like it was the championship game of a sports anime. Komi and Netsuno run side by side until Komi trips, but gets back up and leaves everyone behind except Netsuno. In a nail-biter finish, Netsuno snags victory by a single second. She calls Komi blazing hot now. Netsuno gets emotional seeing how worried Komi's class is about her injury. Komi's class takes second place. Later at school, many social anxiety peeps feel jealous when their friends talk to strangers because they can't jump in. Jealousy hits Komi like a rogue water balloon. A girl named Onemine helps Tadano with council stuff. She tells Tadano she and another person got it covered, so Komi's help isn't needed. Onemine wonders if Tadano is being bullied since a teacher's acting weird, and this, she takes Tadano to the science lab to file papers. Tadano asks how she guessed he's being bullied. She thinks Komi's too beautiful and hard to approach, so it's pressure for an average guy like him to always be with her. Tadano says he doesn't feel pressured. Onemine guesses Komi looks down on him, but Tadano says no. Komi spies on their convo, hiding behind a wall. When Onemine talks to Komi, Komi bolts. After school, Onemine sees Tadano getting more work. Komi sits with Tadano, who tells her to go home if she wants. Komi stands about to leave, but then writes she wants to help. She stays and helps. Tadano teaches her what to do. Onemine leaves, seeing Komi helping. The next day, Komi apologizes for running away. She whispers she's sorry for hanging out with Tadano because she was rooting for both of them. Komi dashes off. Later, Komi tells Tadano photo stickers are all the rage. She wants to go to the arcade, and Osana joins. Yamai wants in too. After school, they all hit the arcade. Komi's surprised at how many photos there are. With her already flawless skin, big eyes, long legs, and full body, there's no filter she can use. The 4 take pictures, but Komi looks hilarious in them. Afterwards, they leave. 3 days later, Tadano brings Komi a keychain she was eyeing at the arcade. Komi shows him the keychain, writing that she got what she wanted. Alpha. She asks Tadano to trade keychains. She gives him hers, takes his. When she gets home, she pulls out Tadano's gift and gets super happy. Her mom notices and smiles. Even keychains can make someone freakishly happy. Things were pretty wild, like crisis level wild. The vibe was super tense, about to snap. Then, bam, the delinquents from episode 3 popped up. The class was trying to figure out what to do for the cultural festival, but voting ended in a tie, so they had to revote. Apparently, even deciding on fun gets dramatic. Osana spoke for Tadano. Yamai pitched a haunted house, saying it'd bring everyone together, and also gave a cheeky reason about sneaking some butt touches on Komi in the dark. Nakanaka wanted to start a band so everyone could finally hear the legendary voice of their goddess, Komi. Karaoke just wasn't enough for them. Himiko suggested a whack-a-mole game because she wanted Komi to whack her. Shinobino pitched making an indie film about rescuing Princess Komi from ninjas. Onamine thought selling rice balls was the move because everyone needs snacks. Yadano threw in bowling, billiards, darts, basically anything competitive. The proposals kept coming. Yamai even wanted to sell frankfurters too. It was another tie. Tadano was lost about what to do, so he asked Komi what she voted for. She hesitated but said, Maid Cafe. Maid Cafe got 36 votes and won. Festival prep kicked off. Tadano noticed Komi wanted to help but couldn't. The students wouldn't let her lift a finger and instead made her sit on a throne like a queen. Culture Festival Committee member Otori went to buy more supplies and asked Komi if she wanted to come. The others hesitated, like if it is okay to ask a goddess to shop. Onamine and some others agreed to go with Otori instead of Komi, but then realized shopping took too long, so they stayed for Komi's sake. In the end, 3 of them went. They hit up Calm's home center. One of mine felt weird leaving Komi and Otori alone, so she tagged along. Otori was there for the first time and suddenly disappeared. Onamine told Komi to find her fast. Komi spotted Otori sneaking into the staff-only room and grabbed her just in time. Otori babbled about not knowing why she asked Komi to come, but saw her with Tadano and the others and wanted to be friends too. Komi wrote a note but was stunned when Otori disappeared again, this time bothering the salesman. Shopping done, they headed back to school. Otori was stoked about making friends with Komi. Later, they handed out festival flyers around Eton Shopping Street, asking shopkeepers to put them up. Osana bragged about scoring some croquettes like a snack legend. Komi tried to match his flex, went inside and accidentally ended up eating a whole meal instead. Then Komi, Osana, and Tadano went to her salon, where Karasu asked if they wanted to put up a flyer. After that, they hid Ramen Daro. Only one flyer left. Osada rang the doorbell and they handed the flyer to a lady with a crying baby who went from full-on opera mode to silent awe when he saw Komi. After finishing, everyone went home. The night before the festival, many students stayed late prepping, but the room looked like a graveyard. Dead, tired corpses everywhere. The corpses came back to life when they saw the rice balls. They tried figuring out which ones Komi made. Osana bragged about his oddly shaped rice balls, cubes, and diamonds and stuff. Onamai made big rice balls. Osana said Komi's rice balls were perfectly shaped. Someone was definitely fibbing. Tadano ate a Komi rice ball that Komi had mimicked Osana's weird shapes. The 23rd Iton High School Culture Festival started. At the Maid Cafe, Komi wanted a long skirt. Yamai faked passing out and filmed a low-angle video of Komi, which is sneaky. Maid expert Tatsuhito Akito already decided which maid cafe to visit. Before going, he cleansed his body. Gotta make a good impression. Akito chose Eton High School's Class 1-1 Maid Cafe. As a regular otaku, he shrinks in real life but feels like a king in his head. He noticed the cafe had all the classic maid archetypes: geeky, clumsy, prickly, peepee. He saw Komi carrying water and wondered why she was scowling at him. Maybe because he was ogling the maids too openly. He thought it was wrong for a man to have feelings for his maids. Komi tried to say pardon, but he thought she said patronizing. He ate his food and left. Komi thought he was upset because of her poor service. Osana told Komi to give a proper farewell and invited Akito to come back soon. Tadano saw Akito standing alone and looking sad. Akito knew saying the wrong farewell was taboo for a maid but figured Komi was an ice queen. This encounter would take Akito places. Osana showed Tadano the maid outfit Komi rejected. Tadano wore it with the extensions. Komi's mom showed up. Tadano served her a dish. Komi's brother Shosuke was there but felt uncomfortable there. He left quickly. Komi's cousin Akira came by, saw Tadano, and left, calling her mom to say she was right about Tadano. After serving, Tadano sat alone, sighing from exhaustion. Komi sat beside him, told him he looked cute in the outfit, and they both got super awkward. The Maid Cafe is straight up buzzing, packed so tight it's like everyone in town decided to show up at once. Maid Cafe Tan now has a 15-minute wait. Osana's cooking up some sneaky plans and drops the best deals in town. He keeps coming up with fresh offers to pull in more customers. Every new offer is like a magnet for hungry customers. Now there's a 60-minute wait just to get in. But Osana isn't satisfied yet. He tells Komi to dip out of the classroom, walk about 100 meters, and then come back. Komi follows orders, and 5 minutes later, she's pulling in even more people like a magnet. Osana calls it the Komi snowball method because whenever maid Komi walks by, people just can't resist. Tadano's low-key shook by Osana's marketing skills. They charge 300 tan per game, 500 tan per photo, and 1,000 tan for a 30-minute walk with a maid. Want to get slapped by a maid costs 2,000 tan per slap. Osana's stacking cash and keeps pitching new money-making ideas. The teacher shuts Osana down, and then refunds get announced over the PA system. No sweat, Osana flips the script and goes full-on legit, turning the Maid Cafe into the town's official hotspot. He tells Komi they should check out other events. After all, their maid outfits are walking ads. Osana laughs, calling this another giant Komi snowball method, but nobody catches on. They roll up to the haunted house, the trio stepping inside. A scarer named Shizuka Odoka spots them and freezes when she sees Komi. She's basically their god. She's torn between scaring folks and not wanting to upset Komi. She decides to do her job, but when she's ready to jump out, the crew's already gone. Afterwards, they catch students confessing on the rooftop, but Komi's clueless about this tradition. Yamai heads up to confess her love for Komi, marriage proposal included, and asks Komi out. Osana yanks Komi away, telling her to promote the Maid Cafe. The students start cheering for Komi to come to the roof. Komi tries to say maid but ends up saying meow. The crowd stares and Komi feels her knees wobble like jelly. Her face turns 50 shades of red. Everyone's eyes lock on her, making her want to vanish into thin air. Osana's hyped that this ad campaign is a total win. Meanwhile, the meditation club shows up, doing a demo on how monks whack away evil. They drag Osana along. Later, Komi notices people staring at her more than usual. Onamine asks Komi to hang out with him. Onamine pulls Otori from the crowd, and the whole gang enjoys the festival, playing games and trying new stuff. While sipping coffee, they wonder about the class rankings. They head to the courtyard where a band's playing. Tadano feels his heart racing. As the band jams, the festival wraps up. Maid Cafe Iton wins the grand prize. Everyone's stoked until an announcement says the prize is taken back because a student was caught making shady money moves. Osana's the suspect. He looks sad but shrugs it off, saying they had too much fun anyway. Tadano's not having it and tells Osana to stop brushing it off because they wanted that prize. The post-festival dance party kicks off, buffet, and students dive in like it's a free-for-all. Boys start squabbling like cartoon villains over who gets to dance with Komi. Tadano asks Komi to dance, not sure sure if she's down, they hit the floor, neither knowing how to dance. Osana joins, and they all vibe through the night. Later, an after-party celebrates the Maid Cafe's success. They hit karaoke. Komi's only been once when her mom sang solo. Everyone's ready to sing, but Komi's freaking out about her turn. Osana goes first and everyone's loving it except Komi, who cued a song but isn't sure she can sing it. Yamai dedicates a song to Komi and thinks Komi's moved by it, seeing her shake. One by one, they all sing. Tadano watches Komi trembling. Finally, Komi grabs the mic but misses the beat thanks to nerves. They all get mushy, imagining the music in their hearts. The machine gives Komi 0 points, so they call it busted. Tadano sings next, but no one's really paying attention. He's chill but feels a little stung, but spotting Komi enjoying it makes him feel like a superstar anyway. Afterward, Osana makes everyone sing together, off-key, chaos and all. Late that night, Komi writes her friends' names in her notebook, smiling at the mess they made.